Hello there. Whenever a Remainer talks about reversing Brexit or having another referendum, just remind them of what David Cameron said. In a Chatham House speech back in 2015, before the in-out referendum, the then Prime Minister David Cameron clearly laid out the ground rules for the vote and said there would be no second referendum. You will have to judge what is best for you and your family, for your children and grandchildren, for our country, for our future, he said. It will be your decision whether to remain in the EU on the basis of the reforms we secure or whether we leave. Your decision, nobody else's, not politicians, not parliaments, not lobby groups, not mine, just you. You, the British people, will decide. At that moment you will hold this country's destiny in your hands. This is a huge decision for our country, perhaps the biggest we will make in our lifetimes, and it will be the final decision. So to those who suggest that a decision in the referendum to leave would merely produce another stronger renegotiation and then a second referendum in which Britain would stay, I say think again. The renegotiation is happening right now, and the referendum that follows will be a once-in-a-generation choice, an in or out referendum. When the British people speak, their voice will be respected, not ignored. If we vote to leave, then we will leave. There will not be another renegotiation and another referendum. So, we're out, unless those working behind the scenes have their treacherous way. For example, our Chancellor of the Exchequer, Philip Hammond, has refused to rule out staying in some sort of customs union with the EU. The chair of the Treasury Select Committee, Nicky Morgan, wrote to the Chancellor and said the exchange of letters proves that staying in a customs union with the EU had not been ruled out. It was widely thought that being in a long-term customs union with the EU had been ruled out by the government, but the Chancellor's letter confirms that this is not the case, she said. It is vital that the Cabinet reach agreement on these central questions about the UK's future relationship with the EU as a matter of urgency. As everyone knows or should know, staying in a customs union with the EU on a long-term basis is remain by any other name. Within such a straitjacket, we would be unable to set up our own trade deals, we would still be subject to the ECJ, and we would not be able to occupy our full seat at the table of the WTO. Hammond obviously still wants us in the EU and will pull every string he can to achieve that. He must go now and be replaced by a proper Brexiteer. And now for some economics news you may have missed. Firstly, the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, SMMT, has reported a decline in annual demand for new cars in 2017 of 5.7%. But before Remainers all jump on the blame Brexit bandwagon, this drop in sales is everything to do with plummeting diesel sales, which are down 17.1%, and little, if anything, to do with Brexit. Also, despite the drop, 2017 was still the third best year in the last decade, with sales of 2.5 million cars, and also the sixth best year ever. Demand for petrol cars also rose in the year, but by a more modest 2.7%. However, this was not enough to offset a 17.1% decline in diesel registrations, with anti-diesel rhetoric and the potential for tax hikes causing buyers to hesitate, said the SMMT. And finally, UK labour productivity grew in both services and manufacturing industries between Q2 and Q3 2017, reports the Office for National Statistics. Overall labour productivity, as measured by output per hour, grew by 0.9% between the two quarters, which is the largest increase in productivity since Q2 2011. Labour productivity is also now above its peak just prior to the credit crunch. When looking at the trends though, you can see from this graph, which shows output per hour and output per worker since the start of 1994, that actual productivity increases have fallen short of the previous trends up until the economic downturn. So although the latest rise is good news, we still have a way to go before we crack the productivity puzzle. As City AM pointed out, today's figures show productivity was still 16.6% below its pre-downturn trend, or 19.8% below where it was expected to be by now. The real point here, though, is that productivity was not adversely affected by the Brexit vote, which tells its own story. Unlike currency values, productivity is not moved by speculators. Anyway, please give us your thoughts by leaving a comment below. Thank you. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.